What am I scared of?
You're scared of losing me.
Weird lighting angle, I know, but we'll have to deal. Hi everyone. I really don't know how to start off this video. Camilo is on his way back from work. I asked him a few weeks ago, kind of just like, you know, had a couple's conversation about it. Whether it was the right time to talk about this. He's given me his consent. A lot of you guys might be wondering, what's going on? Like, are you and Camilo getting separated? Based on the title of the video. Nothing negative. I can confirm that. Look, there's something that I have been... Oh my god. There's something that I haven't opened up to BookTube about. I haven't had the most positive experiences in terms of opening up to BookTube. This is something that also came as a surprise to my family. And I had to hide this aspect of my life from BookTube because I did something, a big thing, non-traditionally. So let's talk about Camilo and I. I've known Camilo since 2017 or 2018, somewhere around then. We met at church, a church that I no longer go to, and as soon as we did notice each other and as soon as we both all of a sudden came into the same conversation, we were drawn to each other. And for months upon months, we got closer to each other. I genuinely didn't think that I meant anything to him, but I injured my leg. That stopped me from going to church for 2 months. After getting to know him for like a year, he noticed that I was not at church for like 2 months. And everybody else, when they're contacting you for church, they're like, oh, why didn't you come? We could have used your enthusiasm tonight. Ugh. You guys might be wondering, what does this have to do with your relationship? I feel like this is important to share. He messaged me out of nowhere and he's like, where have you been? I like hanging out with you. And I was like, oh man, this guy genuinely misses me. So this was the beginning of 2019. We get closer and closer and we were confused. We were never official and we never really confessed our feelings for each other. And we were trying to figure it out for like 2 years. But we never really knew that we were each other's soulmates, but you know, we could feel it. He felt drawn to me, even though he wasn't pursuing me in a romantic way. There were times where he missed me or I was the only person that he wanted to talk to in social settings. And I'm not saying that because he's like super clingy, it's because he's not as much of a social person as I am. And I'm not a very social person either. I just show that personality on my YouTube channel and I fake it in public. And knowing who he was and knowing how he was around me, I knew that there was something aligning us. In June of 2019, he asked me to be his girlfriend, which was amazing. And then it hit me that my boyfriend is from another country. He's from Colombia. And his visa, it would have expired in December of 2020. And we felt so drawn to each other. I found it so difficult to communicate with him that I wanted more time with him. I wanted more time with him to establish us. But also, the more and more I got to know him, the more and more I realized that he was the one. I didn't think that he thought the same way about me. And I think it got to a really hard stage in our relationship where I had to make the decision of either bringing up the future or breaking off this relationship. It hurt me to the point that I was having nightmares of him either getting deported or us not ever being together or him leaving me in this country to go back to his and we'd have to move on with our lives. Maybe he would find love somewhere else and I don't think I could ever love again. At this point in my life, I'm certain, and I hope that never changes because he's an amazing person and I'm in love with him. I mean, you guys already know how like amazing he is based on him being in my videos. He's an amazing person, not just in my videos, and he never fakes who he is in front of the camera. He's genuinely that awesome. He's that kind of person with me all the time and we never have to fake who we are or pretend that we are happy on the outside. Towards the end of September 2019, we were in our favorite restaurant, the Taste of Nanking in Zetland. If you guys are ever in Zetland, check it out. I had to bring up the tough conversation of, so where are we heading? I was actually partially expecting this to be the point where I'd have to break up with him. I needed to respect myself enough to break off the heartbreak early enough if he was planning to go back to his home country and if this was going to be temporary. And I didn't know at this point. The night ended in the best way possible when he said, no, Grace, I want to be with you forever. This is just so sappy. Oh my goodness, I'm like crying right now. But that's when I knew, oh my god, we're gonna be together forever. We're gonna be together forever. From that night on, I started saving up for our partner visa. I was so excited, but I was quiet about it. I never told Camilo a single thing about me saving up for the partner visa, right? He actually had no idea that I was saving up for it. And he had no idea because we actually did not bring up the partner visa in our conversation. It was a simple conversation of, are we pursuing this relationship in the long haul? Or are we just gonna leave it and go our separate ways? But now that this conversation had been established, I decided to work my butt off to not spend my money on books. I saved $9,000, or at least I was in the process of saving it. And then January 2020 comes along. This is before lockdown happened. And I remember having this random conversation 2 days before we were having date night, where Camilo was like, I was just chatting to my auntie and I want to talk to you about something, but I want to do it in person. And I thought in my head, this is gonna be the visa conversation. So I mentally prepared myself after like 4 months of saving and then also taking my back savings and putting that into the visa money. I didn't have all the money ready, but I had a good amount of it, and I could say with confidence that that was the reason why I was being so tight when it came to my money. So when it came to date night, like, yes, of course I would put money towards us treating ourselves, but I would always be cheap about it. Camilo essentially kind of proposes the idea of life together and starting a partner visa together, and he was so nervous about it. It was really funny. We were getting goncha. He was like super nervous, as if I was going to have to think about it or something. He was like, I want to start a partner visa with you, and I don't know if this is something that you need to think over. How do you feel about that? I remember like smiling and looking at him and being like, why do you think I've been saving this whole time? Why do you think I've been so cheap when it comes to our dates? It was really exciting to be able to finally say that, to exhale it, and we both being absolutely happy. Within 2 weeks of us deciding that we wanted to get a visa together, we did not know that in order to get a partner visa together, we would have to live together. While I don't mind a de facto partnership, I already knew that I wanted to be with Camilo forever, and I knew that he was the man I wanted to marry. Conveniently, in order to do the partner visa, you either have to be in a de facto partnership for 12 months, or you would have had to be married before you go into the partner visa application. You don't have to worry about how much time you've lived together. So we had those limited choices. And this being said, everybody's getting married in lockdown. I think some of you guys know where I'm going with this. Okay, it was a little bit of a tough decision, only because we both didn't know whether this was hard for the other person. My mom and I had a conversation about it because I was uncertain. I don't want to be put into a stereotype of like, this is a green card marriage.
Hi everyone, just coming to you from the editing room right now. The reason why I didn't want people to just discredit this as a green card marriage is because the stereotype is that people marry in order to keep someone in the country, but that's it. I don't want people to think that it was an in-the-moment choice. I was scared that people would think that it was in the moment choice or a favor for Camilo, and that is not at all the case. I just thought I'd properly elaborate on that comment.
My mom said to me, you love this man, and he's a man we're fighting for. So why are you ashamed about that? And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. As soon as we had that conversation, I was no longer ashamed. On March the 25th, 2020, I got married to Camilo. This is not an engagement ring, this is a marriage ring. I've been married to Camilo for 18 months. I am no longer Grace Sadiq, I am Grace Arango, if I pronounced it right. I still struggle to pronounce my new last name. If you just want the full-on English pronunciation, it's Arango, but it's a 6-letter word just like my previous last name, but for some reason it's just not registering. This might be such a shock. Okay, when I was talking about family and traditions earlier, here's the thing. Not everyone in my family knew who Camilo was. Only a portion of my family met Camilo before we went into lockdown. And also, if you can't recall from my previous videos, I'm Lebanese. And if you know any Lebanese person, or if you know the Lebanese culture, you'd know that the Lebanese culture is big wedding culture. What devastated me the most about this period was that I wasn't going to experience the traditional Lebanese wedding. Something that Camilo and I are determined to do is eventually have a big wedding. See, the reason why I kept it from BookTube and almost everybody else is because I didn't know how my family was going to take it. Like my extended family. I mean, my immediate family knew, some of them did, and some of them found out from other family members. This is why I didn't tell BookTube for a while. Actually, 10 months ago, I came out about it very publicly in a Facebook statement. My family eventually found out, and yeah, I was very right in thinking that they were going to be a bit suspicious about it, because they were. A lot of my family members were not easy in taking the news that Camilo and I got married. But as they saw Camilo and I together, and as they saw that we were both happy, they started to realize that we were just meant to be. At the end of the day, this taught me about caring less about how people perceived me or us, and more about our love that has more power than that. And so I wanted to give it more power. It's so funny when you're in social circles and people are like, oh, so you're the married couple, give us your wisdom. I had to remind people that I got married at 24. Like, what was I, a child bride? Oh my goodness, I couldn't say this on Twitter for such a long time. I was keeping it in. The reason why was because I wanted to make this video so bad. I wanted to put it in video form, but I've never known how to do it. When Camilo is working late, for some reason I have the drive to just power through it. I did not script this video. Saturday was our 18-month anniversary. Probably the weirdest thing for people to hear. My marriage is probably the healthiest relationship I've ever been in. I'm talking about relationship in general. I'm including friendships, I'm including relationships with my work colleagues, I'm including family relationships, everything. Sometimes a lot of people wonder, whether it's in real life or on the internet, a lot of people wonder, oh, like, I haven't heard from you and Camilo together in a while. Like, how are you guys doing? Are you guys okay? Are you guys breaking up? Sometimes people have genuinely been scared that we're gonna break up. I'm thinking, you know, if we're silent about our relationship, it's probably because we're having fun together. And I think the cool thing about not letting everybody know about your marriage life or about married life in general, or like how you're going, works differently for some people. Some people think that accountability to everyone else is so important, but I personally think that when you take the pressure away from everybody knowing, everything becomes easier. You and your partner have space to work things out and to be emotionally mature adults about it. That is what Camilo and I benefited from, I'd say, at the very beginning of our relationship, or at least the first 8 months of our relationship before we came completely public about it. And the cool thing about not having the church people around to snoop is that, you know, people weren't policing our boundaries. We made up our boundaries. I was gonna say it depends on the church you go to, but really no, it just depends on the people that you're around and how they define relationship boundaries and how they enforce them. I don't know, I've grown up in a culture where healthy relationship boundaries have been enforced on me and have been enforced on even my sister and just many of my friends, and I realized that while they're helping you guide and navigate a healthy Christian relationship, honestly, I think what is even more important is when you can establish your own boundaries. You can decide for yourself what is healthy. I am so thankful the person that you see in my videos, Camilo, is such an emotionally mature person. And you guys have seen me deal through so much over these years. Literally during the years I've been on BookTube, I was heartbroken by 3 other guys. I'm not even gonna bring them up, but oh my goodness, none of them compared to Camilo. There was one thing I forgot to bring up in the video. We applied for our visa in June of 2020. And the entire application process, I was extremely nervous that immigration were going to go hard on us. I think when it comes to partner visas, it is so difficult for you not to feel like there's imposter syndrome. You don't feel like you're meant to be chosen, but you are determined to do your best and fill out the applications properly and give as much evidence as you possibly can. My drive was to keep him here, to keep him in this country so that we would never have to be separated, that eventually we could start a family, to stay here in Australia, like to have Medicare. Oh my goodness. In Australia, if you guys don't know, we have healthcare. I was born into this privilege, and so sad to know that a lot of people aren't born into it. I wanted him to experience the benefits that I did. If you guys have never done a partner visa before, a partner visa application usually either gets accepted or rejected within, I think, 23 to 25 months, so that's 2 years. Ours got accepted within 11 months. In May 2021, he got his temporary partner visa. And this is a positive step in the right direction, because our next stage, which we will be doing in June next year, will be his permanent partner visa. But it's one step closer, and not every partner visa gets accepted. The fact that 9 grand, 9,000 Australian dollars had to be put towards a visa with the potential of a rejection, like, that is a big risk, but it was a risk worth taking. I'm so happy. The truth of my relationship is that I'm happy. I'm not going anywhere. And I'm so thankful. This year, Camilo and I have made great milestones. We signed our first lease together. We got our partner visa together. We're now getting ready for the permanent partner visa. He got his Medicare card. This isn't the end. It's definitely a beginning, considering that we're planning to do our big wedding in the future. And we're hoping to get my in-laws fly in from Colombia. It would be really exciting to meet Camilo's family off of FaceTime in real life. Hopefully this will happen sometime in the near future. It's really hard to tell when it will happen. Camilo and I can have a proper honeymoon. We did not have a honeymoon whatsoever after our small outdoor wedding where I could only really invite my parents to be witnesses. We have some plans for the future, but there's a lot of things that we don't have figured out. A lot of people might be thinking, now that I'm married, I'm probably well established. No. I mean, I got married before I got my dream job, which is amazing, like the fact that I got a dream job. But like, I got married before so many things in my life happened or will happen. Not everybody will take that risk. I have a family member who is so certain about himself not getting married until he has everything established, prepared for his potential family in the future. And you know what? I'm so happy for him. And things didn't work out that way here. This being said, knowing that I'm with the person who I want to be with for the rest of my life and having that certainty, no matter what stage I am in financially, I love that. That's a very simplistic way of saying that it's the best thing ever. I think having that certainty in who you love and who you want to grow old with is a beautiful thing. I didn't have a long-term relationship before I got married. 18-year-old G-Swizz would be screaming at me right now. She'd be like, are you serious? You got married when you were in a romantic relationship with someone under a year, 10 months to be exact. And I'd be like, yeah, I did that. It's no big deal. I feel like I've known this guy my entire life. It's something that sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it only really happens with those people who you just click with, and not everybody gets that experience. Not everybody has that person they can feel safe with. I understand that I am so lucky in that aspect, and to the point that for some reason, I feel bad about it a lot of the time. But that's because I just know a lot of people who have not been in that same situation. And I know a lot of people can't really understand my circumstance. And I promise you, it was not a high. It was not a choice in the moment situation. We've lived with each other and we have been in lockdown for such a long time. If it wasn't gonna work out, it would have showed itself already. We've probably been in lockdown for most of our marriage. Every day, I am reminded that I'm in lockdown with my best friend. And it's actually the funnest experience. And we're both introverts. That is so weird. If you've been rooting for Camilo's and my relationship, I hope that this was good news for you. I do want to apologize to the booktube community for holding it in for so long. I just never knew how to make this video and talk about it. And like, it was really hard to talk about because I'd just be crying, you know, when I'm bringing up former feelings or the fear of losing someone you love. It is what it is. We are doing okay. And if we're not doing okay, it's not something that I would bring up on the internet. That's definitely something that we would both have a discussion about. But you know, we've had our ups and downs. I mean, considering that this year has been difficult in terms of mental health, I think getting my dream job has made it easier and has made everything happier and me feel happier every single day. But this being said, there has been a lot of darkness, but I'm happy to say that he's been the light in my darkness. I know I'm so cheesy. Okay, I'll stop. If you happen to like booktube and if you want to watch more of my booktube videos, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Also give this video a thumbs up to know that you approve. If you want to see Camilo more on my channel, let me know. I can finally do the newlywed game and be honest about it. I love you book lovers, and never give up on love. I'll see you later. Peace.